What's up, guys? It's your girl, Cash Arroyo, and you are now listening or watching PCOS Unplugged. What's up, guys? If you tuned into last week's episode, we talked about sunlight therapy lamps, vitamin D, the seasonal depressions. We also talked about childhood trauma, ACE scores, the Karen Purvis Institution, and so much more. We really talked about a lot of really good information. So if you haven't watched or listened to that episode, make sure that you tune in. And if you're new here, I post the YouTube version first and then the audio version a week later because I want you to be eager to watch me. So I'm applying pressure. Either you're going to be a week late or you're going to be on time. You choose. I wanted to talk to you guys today about medicines, supplements, all the things of PCOS. I feel like a lot of people are asleep when it comes to supplements and vitamins, and a lot of people are jumping into the medicine or things that they hear about in the mainstream, like Ozempic, metformin, berberine. Let's get into it. Why don't we? First things first, I do not take Ozempic. I do not take metformin. If you've listened or watched my last podcast episode, or my first podcast episode, I talked about how I was going to fill my metformin prescription, but it flew out the window, and I took that as a sign. And the more research that I did in metformin, the more I was like, I don't think I want to take metformin. Now, not every bad side effect that these medicines have are gonna happen to you. You know what I'm saying? It's just a one off. Like it could happen to you, it could not happen to you. And honestly, like I'm not down bad. I don't need to take these things. You know what I'm saying? But there are people who feel like they do need to take them, and there are people who do need to take them, right? So, like if you're dealing with pre-diabetics, diabetics, you really have an insulin resistance issue, then I can understand you wanting to take something that's going to alleviate the issues, it's going to reverse the issues, and it's just going to give you back a peace of mind. I truly, truly get it. The reason for me telling you that I don't take these medications is because I want y'all to take this with a grain of salt. Not everything is an absolute. I think that it gets very finicky when you are talking about, a diagnosis, you're talking about symptoms, anything medical. When you're listening to someone who definitely doesn't have like a doctorate degree, they're not a doctor in that sense of form. I think that you should definitely take things into consideration and do your own research. While I am a PCOS specialist, all that means is that I specialize in knowing PCOS. I am very knowledgeable. I read clinical material, research papers. I learn when new research comes out. I do the work. While a lot of people are not able to understand what comes out, or they don't have the time or their energy, or they just don't put too much thought into it, that's where I come in and I put a lot of thought into it. I specialize in that mainly because not only do I have PCOS, but because I genuinely like to help people. All right. I genuinely like helping people. And I don't know, I just like knowing what I know. With that being said, I am not on anything. I don't take anything except vitamins and supplements, and we're going to get into that. So, a lot of people are always asking me what are my thoughts on metformin, Ozempic, and so forth. So let's talk about it. Now, when I started doing my research on metformin and I heard that it could cause kidney issues, people had to go on dialysis, and that there was a natural version of metformin, I just thought to myself, there's no reason for me to get on metformin because there is a natural metformin, right? Metformin is a compound that is created, it's man-made to help you with insulin resistance, to help those who are dealing with pre-diabetic and diabetes, right? What this does is it helps reverse your diabetes, but just know that just because you may be out of what we call the red zone of diabetes, you still are in an area where I'm going to read it because verbatim, I don't want to mess this up. But so even though you may reverse or go into remission, right, as someone who had pre-diabetic or diabetes, when that happens, you end up experiencing a reduction in beta cell function of the pancreas, and that is responsible for producing insulin. Okay. While we think that we're in the clear, we always win and we always lose. Nothing is always a perfect guarantee. Even when diabetes is managed successfully or put into remission, the number of functioning beta cells might not fully return to their previous levels. The reduced beta cell function can persist, meaning that the body's ability to produce insulin might still be compromised. This is why ongoing management and monitoring are crucial. So, the beta cell's main function, right? Y'all with me? Stay with me now. The beta cell's main function is to produce and secrete insulin, a hormone that helps to lower blood sugar levels by allowing glucose to enter the cells of the body, where it can be used for energy. When blood sugar levels rise, such as after eating, beta cells detect this increase and release insulin into the bloodstream to help maintain balance. In individuals with diabetes, particularly type 2, beta cell function can be impaired, leading to inadequate insulin production and subsequently higher blood glucose levels. When you go into remission with your diet, pre-diabetes or your diabetes, you end up losing beta cells, right? Some of them end up just not functioning anymore. And their whole job is to push insulin into your system, right? Whenever you need it. However, if you are losing these beta cells, you're losing the ability to have more insulin pumped into you, right? And that's crucial because a lot of us are insulin resistant when we need to have this proper flow yin and yang happening within our body. And metformin's job is to decrease the glucose that's being produced by your liver. I was about to say by your insulin, by your liver. It basically signals to the insulin, like, okay, we see you, and we're going to break down the glucose that's coming in. So the metformin works in your body to help the insulin move through and to break down the glucose. Your liver, while it plays like a huge part in pushing out glucose into your stream, it's called like gluconeogenesis, if I'm not mistaken, right? I always remember that because I love Genesis. It's irrelevant, but that's true. Metformin's job is to stop the glucose from being pushed out and being pushed out and being pushed out. This helps lower your glucose blood levels, right? You with me now, right? So now, if you're familiar with insulin, insulin is actually a hormone in our body and it allows glucose to come in so it can be used as energy. Metformin then makes certain parts like fat in our body sensitive so that when the insulin is being pushed through, it's able to grab this glucose a lot easier, absorb it, if you may. Now, when this happens, your body doesn't need to produce more and more insulin, okay? It's all working together, or it should be working together, right? And the reason that I say should be working together is because everybody is different. So while this might work perfectly for one person, this may not work perfectly for one person, right? Because this also plays a huge part in your liver and your kidneys. And the thing with these medicines is that the doctors who are not specializing in PCOS, who are not trying to do the research, who are stuck in old medicine, what they do is they push out this medicine to their PCOS patients, their patients who are pre-diabetic, diabetic, without doing proper research on the medicine and actually testing the patient's bodies, to make sure that their liver is functioning correctly, their kidney is functioning correctly. Now, of course, there is going to be some parts of your kidney and your liver that might obviously not be functioning well because of your insulin and your glucose, but is it functioning properly enough that the medicine that you're taking is being flushed out the way that it should? You get what I'm saying? When your kidneys are not functioning properly and the medicine is not being flushed through the way that it's supposed to, it builds up, right? And this is why I say you have to do your research because this could end your life, right? And I'm not even joking. This could literally cause so many issues, health issues, and this could really put you in a position that you don't want to be in, right? When it's your kidneys are not functioning properly and they're not flushing out said medicine, what ends up happening is there ends up becoming this buildup, right? Lactic acidosis, if I'm not mistaken. What ends up happening is this is an adverse reaction that happens to your body because it goes into your bloodstream, right? And this is if you have so much built in, this is a highly concentrated. Don't want to misread anything once again. One of the most serious complications of metformin are accumulation of lactic acidosis. It's rare but potentially life-threatening condition. It occurs when lactic when lactate and acid builds up in the body faster than it can be removed. Um, Symptoms include muscle pain, difficulty breathing, and fatigue. So if you are taking this medication and you're noticing these things, make sure that you speak to your doctor. Another side effect is gastrointestinal issues like nausea, vomiting, and diarrhea. And for some people, this is a lifelong sentence. This does not go away. When I say that it is absolutely important for you to make sure that your doctor is willing to do the research when it comes to your polycystic ovarian syndrome to make sure that your body is even equipped to take medications like that, it is imperative. Just because it's a doctor does not mean that they are really, caring about your circumstances in your life at that moment. Doctors are like, okay, I know what this medicine is, I know what it does. I'm going to send you on your way without really doing the proper research for your body and your needs, right? If they just know that this helps pre-diabetics, diabetics, let me see what we could do with your insulin, your glucose. Here, let me just give you this medication without testing you and making sure that you're safe. So I think that's the first takeaway. Obviously you need to be careful, right? I posted something about metformin one day, and there were so many comments about people who were having kidney issues, were diagnosed with kidney issues, liver issues, gastro issues. For me, I feel like we need to put a spotlight on these things too, because I think that a lot of the times, facilities try to cover this up. People don't want to hear about it. They think it's an anecdotal, experience, so it doesn't matter. But if it doesn't matter, what matters? You know what I'm saying? Like, these are real people experiencing real issues with these medications that are being pushed out like candy. That is one reason why I didn't want to take the metformin, just because I particularly was afraid. But that doesn't mean you should be afraid. I'm telling you this because I want you to make the right sound decision for you and your body, but I also want you to take the right measures to make sure that you're safe in the long run, because I would hate for you to get on a medication and it's not suitable for your body and it's too late. Don't let it be too late, friend. Next up is Ozempic. Ozempic is not a weight loss medication. Says who? Literally, like, says who? Who says it's not? Oh, okay. I feel like mainstream has made Ozempic become like the new BBL, right? It is something that people can take, they can pay for, and they can see results. Some immediately, some over time, but it has helped so many people. And I believe that the reason it's become so mainstream is because so many celebrities are using it, and using it more for vain purposes than for actual health purposes, from what we know, right? Because we don't know these celebrities. We don't know what they go through in their life. We don't know nothing about them. So, I mean, I can't really sit here and say, oh my God, like, Kim Kardashian be taking Ozempic and she don't even need it. I don't know that lady from a hole in the wall. I don't know what her health paperwork says and what she needs and what she don't. But what I do know is that a lot of celebrities are the reason that Ozempic blew up the way it did. A lot of people are suggesting that Ozempic should not be a side by side to a weight loss medication because it's for people who have diabetes. And every time I hear that, I roll my motherfucking eyes. Because are y'all dumb? Oh, okay. You are. Okay, first off, insulin issues are such a it's such a pandemic in its own. It shouldn't even be an issue. People should be getting treatment for this. People should be getting the help that they need for this. And the fact that these like medications for people who have diabetes, pre-diabetes, have to pay so much money to survive. It behooves me. Okay, that's number one. Number two, when we are not on top of our insulin issues, or when we start to have insulin issues, glucose issues, we end up gaining weight. That is one of the things that could happen to us. Therefore, something like Ozempic not only is helping with our insulin and our glucose, but it's also helping with our weight. That's number two. Number three, women who experience polycystic ovarian syndrome symptoms are going to have issues with insulin, or obviously, and glucose, right? And the thing that really just befuddles me is the fact that people are saying that it's not a weight loss medication, but in reality, yes, it is. Women who have PCOS are not just overweight, or just not fat, or just not chubby because they like to eat food. No, it is a slew. It is literally a ski run of issues, an avalanche following behind them. If they mess up in one area, it's going to come down hard on people with PCOS. And not even with people who have PCOS, just other people in general who are dealing with stubborn weight that will not come off of them. First off, me personally, from experience, if I am stressed out, it don't matter if I eat a acorn outside, bitch. I'm going to gain weight because that is how my body works. Every single body is different, literally. When I have high cortisol, my cortisol is through the roof. It is a hormone in our body. When it's a stress hormone, when I am stressed out, I retain I retain weight. I retain fat. And this fat does not want to leave me because my body is going into overdrive thinking that it needs to protect me. But it doesn't need to protect me. I'm just stressed out right now. Pookie, I gotta take an exam today. But my body don't know that. My body thinks I'm in a war fight with somebody about to do a shootout. So the issue isn't, oh my god, you're fat, like let's take the shortcut and start taking medications like Ozempic. Absolutely not. This is our health just as much as anybody else's. Because I'm stressed out, my body goes into overdrive. I start to retain this weight, I start to retain this fat, and then I start to have a slew of other issues like fatigue, sleep apnea, acne, insulin issues, pre-diabetic, cyst. Like it just, we get so many symptoms, right? And it just stems from one thing and then it goes to another. It's not always, hey, I'm sitting at home and I'm stuffing my face with a pizza, a Coke, a couple of chips, some Reese's every single freaking night. And that's why I got big. And that's why now I'm taking the shortcut and using Ozempic. It is not like that. That is not everyone's reality. Sure, some people do live like that, and that's their business. But that is not the reality for a lot of people who are jumping on Ozempic, who truly feel like they need it. Not only Ozempic, but Manjaro, Wegovy. These GLP-1 medications are not a shortcut out. This is literally helping so many people who for so long thought they were going to be stuck in this like body that they're in, because no matter what they were doing, nothing was working. All the workouts that they were doing was making it worse on their body, but they didn't know that because their doctor didn't say, hey, low impact workouts. Instead, their doctor said, eat healthier and go to the gym. So now you're going to the gym and you're doing so many different things, causing your body to go into overdrive of cortisol issues because your body is stressed out. Your heart rate is beating 1,000 miles per minute because you're thinking that this is what you got to do to lose weight, when in reality that's not what you had to do. That's not what you had to do. Eating healthy, what does that mean? How should I eat? What do I eat? Do I eat in a calorie deficit? Do I not? Do I only eat red meat? Do I take out red meat? Do I only eat chicken? Do I go keto? Do I go vegan? Do you see where the problem lies? And to think that what you think is the absolute for everyone is really crazy, bitch. Really, something that I have been saying over and over and over. People judge you based off their own insecurities. So when I hear people blabbing about people who take Ozempic and how we need to save this medication for people who have diabetes, it just stems from a place of insecurity and also ignorance. Ignorance. You're insecure because you don't know if the medication is going to be in stock for a family that you know, a family member that you know, a friend that you know, or yourself. You're feeling insecure about not knowing, not having the control, and feeling like, oh my God, we're not going to have the medication that we truly need. Because for some reason, you have made it in your head that this was only made for you or said friend or family member, when you haven't done your research to understand why bodies are reacting the way that they do, needing medication that you are saying is only for you and your community. Baby, we're all suffering with something that trickles down that ends up being a invisible string theory. Think about it. Think about it. For a while, I was, again, I don't take any of these medications, and not that I necessarily was like, oh, fuck Ozempic and fuck this and fuck. It wasn't that. It was just that the side effects for me were always very daunting. Like when you take Ozempic, you lose all of your muscle first, right? And for a while, I was all muscle. Your girl was in the gym, thighs is muscular, calves is muscular, arms is muscular. So me knowing that if I was to take Ozempic, all of the muscle that I have worked so hard to get throughout the years is going to diminish if I'm not in the gym still trying to gain it. And knowing where I was in my life, I was not in the gym. So I knew I would lose it. Also, sometimes it takes away the muscle and the fat in your face too fast, leaving you looking a certain way. Again, don't take these things as absolute. Ozempic also, same as metformin, could cause issues in your kidneys and in your liver because it plays the same role as metformin in a sense, right? While it's producing more insulin and pushing out the glucogen and all of this, right? The GLP-1 in your body because we do already make that in our body. So Ozempic and Wegovy and Manjaro, all of these different types of medications that are the same, all play a huge part in different communities, not just yours. I'm sorry that you think that fat people are only fat because they sit at home and they stuff their face, not fat because they've been through childhood trauma and because their body is fighting something we don't know, not chubby because their cortisol is through the roof because no matter how long they've been in the gym trying to work it off, they're actually reversing it because they're throwing their body into overdrive and their body is trying to protect them and storing the fat instead. These are stories and examples that we know nothing of, but yet we holler Ozempic this, Ozempic that. Do your research and shut up. Okay? Again, this is why I say if you want to take metformin, if you want to take Ozempic, if you want to take Manjaro, if you want to take berberine, do your research because you can listen to me all day long. You can listen to all these people online all day long, and you can make sound decisions with what you find online. Absolutely. But until you get your blood work done, until you go see your doctors, until you do your research on what you want to do that is best for your body, you just gotta sit back and just do the research. I implore you to do the research. I implore you to ask questions. I implore you to fire your doctor and find a new one if they're not working against your best interest because not all doctors give a fuck. They're here for the money, especially them old doctors. And that's again not an absolute, not all old doctors, but a lot of them are old money, old medicine, and they don't care to do new research and find out new things. Like I just find that to be crazy, but that's just the reality of it. So yeah. Okay, so let's talk berberine. Berberine is it went side by side when research was conducted with metformin. Okay, the difference is that metformin has a lot more symptoms, is man-made, it's made in a lab, okay, by man, where berberine is actually found in a plant compound. It is not man-made, it's natural and comes with less side effects. Now, does that mean that there's no side effects? No, that just means that there's less side effects. And to make sure my mic was still on. And so, again, doing your research and figuring out what's best for you is going to be the best bet when it comes to anything that you take. Now, I always tell people my sound advice is try berberine first. Try berberine first. It does the same thing that metformin does. But metformin, you need a prescription for. Berberine, you can buy online. Do your research, find a reputable brand that you care about, that cares about its actual clients and what they're pumping out, and purchase berberine and try berberine out and see how that works for you, and then go from there. Now, something else that I wanted to talk about is spirulina. Spirulina is that girl. If you don't know what spirulina is, I'm going to tell you verbatim. Studies recently came out this year about spirulina being up against metformin and how it was being tested on rats to see like how spirulina works and what it does for the body with those who have PCOS and insulin issues. And it's crazy because it was neck to neck as well, almost with metformin, but they're saying that they need to conduct more research, which great. I love that because spirulina is great. Spirulina is a type of blue-green algae that is rich in nutrients and often used as a dietary supplement. Spirulina is high in protein containing all essential amino acids. It's a good source of vitamins, including B vitamins and vitamin A, as well as minerals like iron and magnesium. It has antioxidant properties such as phycoquinone. Oh my God, girl, I don't know what that word is. I'm sorry. which help protect cells from damage. The nutrients and antioxidants may help boost the immune system, may aid in reducing inflammation, lowering cholesterol levels, and improving blood sugar regulation. Some studies suggest it might help with detoxification processes in the body. You can buy this at Sprouts, Whole Foods, anywhere where they sell like you know, I think even GNC you can buy spirulina. I found some spirulina at Sprouts that I wanted to buy, but I ended up having to put it back because I had to count on my calculator how much funds was going to each thing. But um vitamins play such a huge part, and nutrients play such a huge part in being better with PCOS. I always say this. Vitamin B, vitamin D, um spirulina, even charcoal, like a activated charcoal cleanse, zinc, NAC, berberine, magnesium. There is a plethora of vitamins that you can take to start helping your body. If you're gonna start, I'm gonna say take some omegas, take vitamin D, maybe even take iron if your doctor tells you that you're low in iron, zinc, copper, and get you some spirulina because spirulina is coming up. They are talking more about it. They are doing more research about it and stating that it is close up with metformin to help those who have insulin and glucose issues. And so while we are always trying to cling to medicine because we feel like medicine should be the best thing because doctors are making it and science are making it and it's medicine, that's not always the case. Some of the best things for your body are going to be vitamins and supplements and these nutritional things that you can find outside in the ground, growing on the trees, and put into in pill form and put into bottles for you that you don't need a doctor for. As always, get your blood work done, see what it is that your body is lacking and is deficient in, and then go from there. Always ask your doctor, hey, is it okay if I take this? Hey, what do you think about me taking this? So that way your body not getting too many things that it do not need. Okay. Okay. I think understanding your body and what your labs report plays such a huge, huge role in play a huge instrumental role in not only your diagnosis, but what you do afterwards and how you live your life. Don't make people make you feel bad because you've gained some weight and you need a little extra help to get it off, or now you're dealing with pre-diabetics, maybe now you're diabetic. Stop letting people who do not have to live with the consequences of the choices that you make dictate how you should move in your body. Why the fuck y'all want to cut the grass now? They be pissing me off. If you weren't able to go to the PCOS conference this year, last year, the year before, no fret. There are companies out there who do the work, who have done clinical studies, who have taken money out of their own pockets to actually create things to benefit not only themselves, but those who have PCOS. When we go to the doctors, a lot of the times, if we have PCOS, they don't test us for our insulin because they say it's going to be high, anyways. But you should know what you're working with, what you're doing, what's happening in your body, regardless if your doctor feels like it's a necessity or not, right? Because it's your body. I met a doctor. Her name was Dr. Ali Chappell. This is her Instagram. I don't even know if y'all will be able to see it. Probably not, but I'll end up putting her information so you can find it. But she has a PhD in nutrition and reproductive endocrinology. She's an author, Low Insulin Lifestyle. She's the founder and CEO of Lilli Health, and she's a clinical researcher. Now, with me saying all of that, this is not sponsored. This is not an ad. I met her and fell in love with her. I love her little spicy attitude. She's the sweetest ever. But I know she got to get to it. She go. No, I'm just kidding. But she's cool. I really, really, really like her. So Lilli Health is an at-home insulin resistance test. She sends it to you, you do everything based off the instructions, and then you send it back to her and you get your results. So instead of having to go to the doctor and deal with all of the messy stuff, you go straight through Lilli Health. The company is a 10 out of 10, and it's still in like their workup, like parts of life, like they're still just getting it together. But with all the research and everything that they've done, it's going to blow up one day because PCOS is still kind of new and it's still being learned about and researched. And I feel like Lilli Health is really going to shape the game with, um, at your door services. You know what I mean? And as I said before, if you're going to take any medications like Ozempic, Mounjaro, Wegovy, GLP-1s, as I said, you have to do your research when you're going to take Mounjaro, Wegovy, Ozempic, any of the GLP-1s. That is the first thing. Make sure you know your body, make sure you know your labs, and make sure you do your research on each one. But not only is that important, but your community within that is important, making sure that you're staying on top of that. You have people in your network and your community who are pushing you, who are helping you, who you are learning from, and board certified doctors and registered dietitians who are going to help you along your journey, right? Because the medication is just one thing, but learning what your body needs to eat, learning how you need to work out is what's going to benefit you to get the optimal results that you're looking for. And that is why I'm going to talk about Join Mochi. Maybe, I don't know. I think it's Mochi. But Join Mochi, I am partnered with them. They did not sponsor this video. They did not put an ad in this video. They didn't pay for nothing in this video. But because I've done the research and I love what they stand for, not only is medication cheap, medication from Join Mochi is a lot more accessible than it is anywhere else. I'm just going to put that out there, flat as it is. And it comes with board certified doctors, it comes with registered dietitians to actually help you in your journey. So when you sign up and you have questions and you need help and you want to build a plan, and you also want to get this medication for the price that is damn good, you're going to get all of that. You're not going to find this. This is unbeatable. You're not going to find this anywhere else. Again, do your research and then check out Join Mochi and see if it works for you. But I wanted to go ahead and put it out there in case somebody was looking, because it's better to have a community that's going to help you put the right foot forward than try to do it all by yourself. Doing it by yourself is exhausting. I should know. But as always, it is your girl, Cash Arroyo. Thank you so much for being here today, listening, watching, and just enjoying and learning as much as you can. Thank you for sharing and subscribing to this as well. I'm just so genuinely appreciative of being in this space and having such an amazing community. Yeah. Thank you guys so much. Thank you for listening to PCOS Unplugged, and I will catch you next week.